types of hand building techniques for clay. The first is pinch, the second is slab, the third is coil. Today we'll be talking about the slab technique. When using the slab technique, you are going to have a canvas on the table. You're going to lay your clay on your canvas, and you will have sticks on either side of your clay. You need to listen to your teacher, and they will let you know how many sticks go on either side of your clay for what project you're working on. For our project today, we are going to do 2 sticks on either side. The other alternative would be 1 stick on either side. We are rolling our clay out narrow, so the sticks need to be close to the clay, and sticks are always close enough together so that the rolling pin fits on top of both sets of sticks. The purpose of the sticks is so that the clay gets rolled out to an even thickness. So our clay today will be 2 sticks thick. When you are rolling, you want to be standing, not sitting, so that you can get better leverage on the clay. When you start rolling, you're going to roll away from yourself, and you want, instead of doing long continuous movements like that, you want to rock your wrists back and forth as you move. This will move the clay faster. You'll continue rolling until it is completely even with the sticks. When you think that you have flattened the clay to a level with the sticks, you're going to do a roll test to check. Put the rolling pin closest to you at the end of the clay, and you're going to gently roll it over the clay. Notice how it's stuck in the middle, so that means that this clay is not flat yet. So Mrs. Dollar will continue rolling until she gets a smooth roll test and the rolling pin makes it all the way over the clay. And now we're going to do one more roll test. She's been rolling this out some more and see if it is flat this time. Okay, I think it needs just a little bit more in the middle. You can see where she's rolling and it's moving the clay outward. Okay, and she's going to do a roll test again. And when it makes it all the way over the clay without pausing, sticking, or going over a hill, then you know that your clay is flat. You now have a flat slab of clay. That's why this technique is called the slab technique. We are going to cut out our clay from this flat slab. Today we're using a square template. Depending on your project, your template may be of a different shape, but you want to place it on the clay, not directly in the middle, as close to the edge where you can get all of it on. If you place the template directly in the middle, that would be wasting clay where you could cut out more templates later. You're going to lay it flat on the clay gently, and then she will be using a cutting tool that has a triangular end. And when she is cutting, she's going to be sure to cut straight down through the clay at a 90-degree angle or perpendicular to the template. If you do not cut at a 90-degree angle, the edge of your clay will be angled and crooked. Depending on the project, you need to listen to your teacher. Occasionally we would cut it at an angle, but most projects are cut perpendicular to the template. To cut clay, it's very easy. You do not have to push or put much pressure to cut down into it. You don't want to, your goal is not to cut the table or the canvas. It's just to cut through the clay so you have a nice clean edge that is the shape of your template. Notice she's holding the template the whole time as she works on each side to cut this out. When you finish, you can remove your template, and you can see that she has a square, just like the template, cut out. The template could fit several more times on the clay, since she did not cut out of the middle. So just like if you were cutting out of a piece of paper, you don't want to waste it by cutting out of the middle. When you are ready to pick up your clay, you want to first remove the excess clay around the edge, and it just gently tears away. If you didn't cut down far enough, it may have a jagged edge, and we'll clean that up later. She's cutting out the excess on the edges to remove the edges. Okay, now when you're ready to pick up your clay, the first thing is you want to be very gentle with it, because if you pull on it, it will be misshapen and not be square anymore. So you want to gently lift your clay with both hands, keeping it as true to the template as you can and not putting finger marks, etc. into it. And it should gently pull away just like that. Okay, you can see some of these edges are a little bit jagged. So now's the time that we will clean those up. You're going to lay it back down on the canvas, separate from the other part of the clay. And she's going to use the same tool that she used the first time to make sure she's continuing that 90-degree angle from the top of the clay surface. And she's just going to trim off that extra mess to make a nice smooth surface. We'll be smoothing this edge later more with our fingers and other tools, but you just want to start with a nicely cut edge. After your clay has been cut and you are through working on it for the day, we're going to show you how to clean that up. If you place the clay directly on a board or a shelf, then it will stick. So with these boards, you're making sure to use the slick side up. The bottom side has a texture, it's rough. You want to make sure you're using the slick side up. It absorbs less water. You want to take the brown paper towels and tear just enough to go under your clay and cover the board where your clay is going to be. This paper towel will keep your clay from sticking to the board, and it will make it easy to remove later. She's going to, again, carefully pick up the clay so that it does not warp or change the size and shape of it. She laid it on the paper towel. Okay, you need to listen to your teacher at this point, depending on the stage that you are at, as to whether or not you're going to have paper towels on top. Sometimes they're damp, sometimes they're wet, and sometimes you don't have any paper towels on top. So you need to be sure and listen to your teacher's instructions. When you are covering this board for the day, you will take one bag and go over the whole board one direction. You want to get any excess air out of it, and then you're going to take a second bag and go the opposite direction. Be sure when you're getting the air out that you don't press down on your clay, or you'll leave fingerprints that are not supposed to be there. After you have wrapped the clay in 2 bags, sealing it so the air does not get to it, because the air will dry your clay out, you need to write on the outside of the bag in Sharpie your name and your partner's name if you are sharing a board. Make sure that you don't write where your clay is, because that will put an impression in your clay. Make sure you're writing clearly, visibly, so that everyone knows whose this is. And notice her clay is right next to her name, so that it is not getting smashed when she writes on it. Okay, and then at this point you need to listen to your teacher directions as to where to put your board for storage for the next class period.